Has this ever happened to you?
It cut off.
Are you a man constantly on the run? Or are you just tired of looking through useless apps? Or do you just want to be on a dependable nationwide network? Well, is this the phone for you? With our new coverage plan, you'll get service everywhere.
I'm sorry. This is an emergency. I need to get across the bridge.
And with our new Monster Hunter app, you'll know exactly when a monster is about to come out and try to kill you. And with our new high-definition camera, you can even take pictures of the souls that have died before you. The phone currently retails at around $300, which is far more expensive than this game. For those of you who don't already know, Silent Hill Shattered Memories is a retelling of the original Silent Hill. The player takes control of protagonist Harry Mason, trying to find his daughter Cheryl right after they were in a car crash. And while in search of his daughter, he has to overcome many obstacles, like running away from nightmares, getting help from sometimes suspicious characters, and trying to find out what really happened in Silent Hill.
It's academic, really, as we're only truly conscious of death when it happens to others.
In the game, you only wield two major objects: your phone and your flashlight. Now, I know a lot of fans would cry blasphemy at the fact that there are no weapons to be present in this game in any form, but really, without the weapons, it just makes you feel even more vulnerable, and the fact that you're stuck in this town. One of the key gameplay mechanics in all the Silent Hill games is the puzzles, and this game is not shy on them. You'll need the Wii Remote to do a lot of the puzzles, many of which are done by moving the Wii Remote in different orders and moving things around, trying to get things out of other things. And they're not the most difficult puzzles, but they're definitely not the easiest.
Some real classics.
For those gamers who aren't exactly into the psychological horror, the actual horror in the game, the running or nightmare sequences in the games, are pretty terrifying, especially at first when you don't know where you're going. Because all you get are doors which have some slight lining on the edges to where you can kind of tell where you're going to go, but you also don't know because you can't exactly bring out your map because there are different kinds of creatures chasing you at the time. So if you're in the dark all by yourself running around through these stages, you might get a little freaked out. Maybe not for the people that like playing Dead Space or some of the earlier Resident Evil titles, but it'll still get your blood pumping.
You were one of those organized chaos types, right? Okay.
Another key thing in the franchise was the differences in the stories, especially in this one, where every once in a while you go to your counselor, who asks you usually a series of questions and then you do a short puzzle kind of thing. Your answers usually direct in changing of costumes between characters and some of the colors of the backgrounds. Overall, it doesn't change completely, so replayability is moderately high to see the different kinds of things and different situations you can get in, but it doesn't drastically change in anything.
Don't move.
No, this isn't what...
I said don't move. Stand up and step away from the girl.
This isn't what it looks like.
Silent Hill, even though seeming to be pretty massive in the game, is actually a very small town. It is said that there are very few residents, and that those residents, because of the freak storm that's going on outside, are stuck inside their homes. So Harry has a pretty wide area to pretty much explore and do whatever he wants. The game was a Wii exclusive with ports for the PS2 and the PSP, which means the graphics aren't the greatest ever in the world, but they get the job done. Some of the facial expressions are pretty realistic.
I came to and she was gone.
So they could have done better, but they did good with what they had.
me some green ones.
Okay.
The musical score in this game is just tremendous. I mean, just listen to it. The game is not extremely long, but for your first playthrough, it might take you a couple of hours. And a good hours it is. If you play straight through, it's pretty entertaining. Like I said before, the graphics are not terrible, but they're not the best, especially when compared to other Wii titles like Super Mario Galaxy, or even things like Punch-Out! And Donkey Kong Country Returns.
They're all alcoholics and perspire too much.
When I bought this game, it was only around $15. By now, which this was a couple months ago, it's probably only around $10. So if you see this game, you owe it to yourself to buy it if you're a Wii owner. Especially if you like other horror games, like the Resident Evil series, Dead Space, or even Doom. Since this is a reboot of the first one, it'd be a perfect one to start out with.